Warning, this podcast was produced by two men who still think that swearing is both big and clever. As a result, it contains quite a lot of it. Therefore, this podcast is not suitable for children, unless they're really fucking cool children. Yes, people, it has been a minute. Welcome to Pop Collaborate and Listen. My name is Dave Fensom. Wow, thank you so much, guys, for downloading our In Excess episode. We were quite overwhelmed by the numbers that we did on that. Glad to know you guys haven't forgotten about us while we've been away. As Krista said in the last episode, yeah, it's been a little bit of a difficult time over the lockdown period. We had a lot going on, not least of which was the fact that my wife was pregnant throughout. So it was a bit of a stressful time, particularly as some of you will know, I make all my money through events, and events disappeared completely. So it's been a weird few months, but then, as Chris said last time, on the 7th of September, we welcomed our beautiful daughter, Isla Ray, into this world. Couldn't be happier, absolutely over the moon. So, cheers. Thanks to all the guys that DM'd me, got in contact to say wish us the best. You know who you are. Thank you. Really appreciate that. So yeah, we're back here with a podcast. This week is about Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells 2, the big, hotly anticipated follow-up to one of the biggest records of all time. And yeah, I think this is quite a good episode. We really got into it. I think this is kind of almost one of the perfect type of records for this, and a record where you've got some memories, some expectations, you're not really sure what's going on. I think this is a good solid episode of PCL, but as always, please let us know your thoughts on there. As Krista was saying last time, we're getting towards the end of 1992 now. We're kind of getting our plans together, trying to work out when and where we can record. As I've mentioned before, we've had an ongoing project building a studio in the garden. That's nearly finished now, so we're going to, infrastructure wise, we're getting up to pace a little bit more. I'm currently debating whether we're going to do some more content on different formats, YouTube and that type of thing. There's going to be more to come, basically music based stuff from me, certainly, possibly from the podcast. Just let us know the type of things that you'd want to see, what would be interesting to you. We're also talking about getting the quiz up and running again when we can. We've got a few barriers to that at the moment, and that Jenny did an awful lot of the work on those, and at the moment she has got a baby attached to her breast pretty much all day, so it makes it very difficult to do any Photoshop. But we've got all kinds of ideas. We haven't been sat on our asses doing nothing. It's just been difficult to kind of get together and record. But as I say, we've got a few great albums coming up towards the end of the year, and when I say great, I don't know, I haven't listened to them yet, but certainly interesting ones. And we will be back as soon as we possibly can with the next series. Any ideas that you've got for getting us out to a wider audience, please let us know, guys. Get in contact. You know, maybe you're a PR and work with podcasts. Let us know. We might be interested in working with you. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to go and change a nappy, so you guys take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Yes, people, welcome back to another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. As ever, my name is Dave Fensom. I'm here with Mr. Krista Greer.
Hello, everybody.
Underneath Krista Greer's chair, as ever, is our faithful friend, Mr. Waffles T. Dog. How you doing, Waffles?
I heard his name there. His ears would look like a little bit of a flick.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, waiting for him to respond is a cunt's errand, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's his dog, isn't he?
And he's also really fucking arrogant.
He is, yeah. He's too good for this shit.
Far too good.
Right, so we are back, motherfucker, to talk about Mike Oldfield.
Mike Oldfield.
And what's his album called?
It's Tubular Bells 2.
The sequel you didn't know you needed.
Indeed.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Yeah. Tubular Bells 2, like 19 years after the first one.
Sure. So, I mean, Tubular Bells, everyone knows it from one main thing, which is The Exorcist, I guess.
That was definitely my first.
Well, or people of our generation know it from The Exorcist.
Well, there you go. Well, that's what made it famous, to be honest. Reading up around it, it does seem that it was released and it did some business, and then it was used in The Exorcist, and it went fucking mental.
Yeah, and quite rightly so. I mean, that is a very... that's right up there with Jaws and stuff like that for good
uses of music.
Perfectly,
in film.
it works perfectly. It's only in there a couple of times, but it's perfect for the scenes it's in. And obviously, it was in the trailers and on the snippets that you see. So it's very, very much associated with it.
Yeah,
apparently, it was going to be Lalo Schifrin had done a score for The Exorcist.
Okay.
But last minute was scrapped. And this was a very last minute addition.
Probably a good choice.
I think, well, you can't imagine it being different now, can you?
Well, you can't imagine it being better, certainly.
No, definitely not.
I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it's an absolute belter.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yes, that's kind of my background on Tubular Bells, for sure.
Sure. And by the time this album came out, had you seen The Exorcist?
I had.
See, I had not.
Yes, I had. I saw it when I was 16. Because it was in 90, that would have been 91. It was finally allowed to be shown in kind of art house cinemas again, because it was on the banned list for ages and ages and ages. And it was finally given a sort of re-release in small places, and I went and got my first fake ID specifically so I could go and see The Exorcist.
Good shit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't seen The Exorcist at all at this point, but my friend Darren, whose dad was kind of big into Jean-Michel Jarre, and I mean, you remember Darren from the Metallica episode. If you're a long time listener to the show, you'll remember Darren from this, and also such quotes as "Got my rubs" on the Erasure episode. His dad had been a fan of Mike Oldfield, so he got Tubular Bells too, I think, day of release. Jesus. It was deep in the middle of our grunge period as well, so I've heard this album like 20, 30 years ago. I heard this album when it first came out. I mean, I've asked Darren to record a little something for us, so we'll see if he sends it through before
his thoughts on this album.
On this album.
Hell. Right, I was good because I just assumed that you'd never heard this album before.
Oh no, I've heard this album.
Oh wow, right? Because I'm brand new to this.
Okay,
totally new. And going in, I was pretty scared of what I was going to be getting into, because in my head, fair enough, Tubular Bells is a classic and I love it in The Exorcist and that sort of thing, but when you tell me, oh, you need to listen to a Mike Oldfield album, I'm thinking, oh, there's going to be an awful lot of wishy-washy stuff, it's going to be really kind of just weird and noodly, it's going to be prog or something like that. So I was not coming into this cheerfully, you know.
Absolutely, mate. Honestly, mate, there are Chinese restaurants with fewer noodles than Mike Oldfield records. So yeah, all right. Well, let's start as we always do with the album cover.
Yes.
So I mean, if you've ever seen the album cover for Tubular Bells, the first one, it's that again, but in worse colours.
Yeah, exactly. They just adjusted the hue in Photoshop. Really, that's what they've done.
That's pretty much what they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of blue and gold. It kind of looks vaguely like Run the Jewels 3.
Oh, okay.
In those colours, the golds and the blues.
All right, yeah.
For fans of Run the Jewels that want a Mike Oldfield reference, who knows?
There's got to be someone out there.
I mean, it's a tubular bell
in the sky,
in a sky, in a kind of unnatural bent shape of some description.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you're a Mike Oldfield fan and you've been waiting for Tubular Bells 2 to arrive, because it had been talked about, and apparently Richard Branson, during Mike Oldfield's time at Virgin, had been trying to get Oldfield to record Tubular Bells 2, because he knew it was a money spinner, and Mike Oldfield had been resistant to it, partly because he didn't want to do it, but partly also because of the way Branson was pushing it. He could see he just wanted the money.
Well, they'd fallen out, hadn't they?
They had, yeah, towards the 80s. Mike Oldfield felt sidelined by Virgin because they were starting to go down the punk route and sign a load of punk stuff. Yeah. And that was obviously the antithesis of what Oldfield was doing, and he felt that he was just no longer in any way a priority for the label, and so, but he couldn't get out of his contract. He'd signed this ridiculous contract when he first got into it, because he was the first act signed to Virgin.
Indeed.
And he couldn't get out of it and had to keep recording albums.
Was Tubular Bells the first release on Virgin?
It was, yeah. It was. Well, it was, and it was the reason that Branson formed the label, because Mike Oldfield had taken this to various other labels who'd all laughed in his face and told him to fuck off.
So you could almost call it their Virgin release.
Oh, hey! Yes, you could.
And very few people release when they're virgins. Anyway,
and so yeah, you know, he was still on Virgin and refused to do Tubular Bells 2 for them. But then in 1991, he parted ways with them and signed to Warner's. And basically, the first thing he did was Tubular Bells 2 for them, which is a bit of a
fuck you. Really.
Yeah, it really is a kick in the teeth. But fuck it, he doesn't give a shit. And so this was, if you are a fan, you've been waiting for this to come out. All you want is an updated version of the first one. You don't want anything dramatically different. No. You don't want to go into it and not recognise anything from the first one and think, why is this called Tubular Bells 2? So if you just get a cover that is the same but with a different palette, you're happy as shit, aren't
Yeah,
you?
sure.
You're totally fine with
Here
that.
we go. Yeah, I mean, it does what it says on the tin.
It,
Anyway.
it absolutely does. This is, and again, did you know this is his 15th album? I didn't realise that.
I mean, no, possibly can, and definitely not. Didn't care.
But did it surprise you?
It kind of doesn't in a way.
Oh, really? Okay.
It doesn't in a way because, like, what else is Mike Oldfield doing apart from sitting in his studio and making music?
True, you're absolutely right. It just surprised me that he had done so many, and I was entirely unaware of them.
I think I'm vague. I think I'm kind of vaguely more aware that there's a bigger back catalogue sitting out there.
Fine.
I suspect there are moments on all of them that I would go, oh, that's a fucking great little riff or something along those lines. But I also suspect on the whole, I'm probably not going to be discovering.
Sure, why would you go into a 1983 Mike Oldfield album?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, maybe, only on a personal recommendation, I think is the way I would go in. If someone knew what I was into and went, you need to hear this has got these bits in it. Because I do like a bit of prog, but
yeah, true.
But I don't immerse myself in huge amounts of prog because, the kind of the barriers to entry are high because you can't. It's really weird. I think half the time when you listen to a prog album for the first time, it's almost impossible to know whether you've listened to a good or a bad one.
Okay. You've just listened to something.
Yeah, exactly. And
right.
you've got, I guess if you've got a level of technical musical literacy and you can hear and you can understand how clever the things are and you can, like someone like our pal Chris Green would listen to a thing and go, oh, I hear what he's doing there, he's doing this, he's doing that. Yeah, I guess you've got more of an immediacy from there. But from my layman's kind of just music fans' ears, I have to listen to it and suss out what's going on.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Even stuff by some of my favourite bands, I'm like, oh, okay. So to take a chance on these records can be
that's a big risk. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I don't know if do you remember his Killing Fields soundtrack that he did mid-80s?
I remember it existing, but I couldn't tell you. You could play me some of it now, I think, and I wouldn't.
Right, okay.
I wouldn't remember it.
Because that's the other thing I kind of really remember him for, because that was in my house growing up. We had that on vinyl. And, fucking hell, you're playing a Mike Oldfield soundtrack to a film about loads and loads of tragedy.
Yeah.
It's not a happy album, but we put it on sometimes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was lovely. It's a lovely piece of music.
A lovely little dance.
Yeah, sure, mate.
Do a jig.
Yeah.
Granny would break out the tin whistle.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the other thing I know. But I suppose the other things everyone knows about Mike Oldfield is Moonlight Shadow.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a great tune. That is a really good wee tune. I love that.
I can't take it seriously because what comedy thing was it? Like a Moonlight Shadow. Oh, it was a Far Show, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they used to play Moonlight Shadow. The Eco Warrior, Dave, whatever his name, Eco Warrior.
Yeah?
Didn't they used to play in the Moonlight Shadow?
Sounds probably about right, actually.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, that's a wicked tune. And then the other thing everyone knows is that he wrote the Blue Peter, or not, he didn't write his version of the Blue Peter theme was the one they used throughout the 80s.
I don't think I knew that.
Oh, I see, yeah, the updated version, I think he recorded it in about 79 of the Blue Peter theme, was used until maybe the late 80s. And it was the first time they'd updated their theme tune since 1958 when it started.
Wow, imagine getting down with the kids by going to Mike Oldfield.
Quite.
Well, we need something that these guys are really going to be into. Who we got out there?
Who's cool?
Oldfield.
Yeah.
Oldfield.
And this is at the height of punk as well, yeah.
Yeah.
But it came from, they had him on doing a piece about sort of modern recording and, in the studio with Mike Oldfield, and he was just demonstrating how he used stuff and what things were that he had in this huge cavernous studio in his house. And he said, for example, if I wanted to do the Blue Peter theme, I would do this. And he played a little bit that sounded like a hornpipe on his keyboards. And then I would put this in. And apparently he then got really obsessed with it and tinkered with it and tinkered with it and tinkered with it until he was happy with it. Right. And then they went, oh, well, there's our new theme tune. We'll just use that then. Brilliant. Nice. Thanks, Mike.
Cheers, Mike.
Exactly. So that's kind of your populist version of Mike Oldfield, I guess.
Yeah. And I think before we go into this album, actually something you said there is quite important to hit on, isn't it?
Right.
In that, got to remember, early 1990s, this record took an enormous studio and an enormous amount of technical know-how to put together.
Yeah, sure. Okay?
Whereas today, Mike would probably put this record together with a few synths, a guitar, and a fucking MacBook Pro.
Oh, easy. You do it on your phone.
This is the thing. These kind of albums seem, I think, if you don't view them through the right filter, it's possible to enormously be reductive about the amount of effort and process that went in to come out
That's
with
fair.
this result.
That's fair.
Whether that makes it listenable or not is not my concern for this review. But
Okay.
I feel I want to make sure that people are aware that this is not, I'm aware that these type of people and the type of things they were doing were enormous pioneers for what happened in dance music and all kinds of other things.
Sure,
Kind of recorded, but they're all, the kind of hi-fi dinosaurs that were obsessed with fidelity and things like that,
This was a big deal with a lot of different moving parts and two different producers as well. It had one guy called Tom Newman who was like an engineer on the first one.
Yeah.
So he'd been there since the very start and did a load of stuff with Virgin throughout. But also, then he got Trevor Horn in as a second producer.
No, we've talked about Trevor Horn on this podcast before.
Well, indeed, yeah. The last time we saw him, I think, was the Seal album.
Yeah.
He produced that. And so he's come in off the back of Seal and having done all the Art and Noise stuff and various big bands in the 80s production-wise. He was brought on as, I guess, someone with an eye more to the future than Thomas Newman, definitely, and probably even Mike Oldfield.
Yeah.
Mike Oldfield's doing things in a very traditional way still, to an extent, but he likes technology, but isn't down with the kids. Trevor Horn is brought in as, okay, well, this is what we can do with a bit of an open mind.
Yeah,
Bring the new thing in.
Okay, let's fucking crack on with this then.
Just trying to think if I've got anything else. The only thing I will say is that the first album, the weight of expectation on this, right? Because the first album was sold over 15 million copies. It's huge. And still apparently sells about 100,000 a year.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't go away. So there's a massive weight of expectation on this from the public on one side, but also from this new label who've given him a load of money to go and do it. And it did get to number one. It was number one for 2 weeks.
Okay.
So it was a couple of weeks. It wasn't just in and out. But the time period that we are going to look at is a bit longer than that because there's other stuff on both sides. Mm-hmm. But this got to number one on the 6th of September 1992.
How did it perform long term? Was it a kind of big platinum record, big seller of the year, or is it?
Not particularly. It sold well, and because it's Tubular Bells 2, because it's Mike Oldfield, it did sell better than any of his other albums from the past few years.
Sure.
But no, it's nothing in comparison to the first one.
No, it certainly didn't set us up for an enormous Mike Oldfield resurgence, did it?
It didn't, no.
I think what's quite interesting, though, is that, he waited 20 years because there was this enormous appetite for this, but then what did he wait was it only another 6 years before Tubular Bells 3?
Yes, yeah.
The running out, the Mike needs to pay the mortgage album.
Well, indeed, there was Tubular Bells 2, here we are in 1992, then there was something like Orchestral Tubular Bells in 95, Tubular Bells 3 in 98, I think.
Yeah.
And then in about 2003, there was the 30th anniversary Tubular Bells 1.
Where he just re-recorded it.
I know, yeah. Yeah, he's obviously seen this is his cash cow, and that's where he's going to get the most money.
Yeah, fair enough, mate, fair enough.
But also, this is fucking a new age album, realistically. Being number one in the midst of things. We just did In Excess, Michael Ball earlier, this sort of thing. Fair enough that we did The Orb a couple of episodes ago, and it fits in with that, and The Orb did some remixes of the singles as well. But it's a weird one, I think, that this was a big deal.
Yeah, but it was. This is the thing. We often think about pop charts as being a youth-driven thing, but the one thing that this podcast has shown us time and time again is that certainly in the early 90s, the albums chart was a very adult-led.
That is very true. There's a massive difference in that. You're right.
This wasn't being bought by people in their 20s, apart from Darren.
Apart from Darren.
Actually, I think Darren was like in his teens. I think he'd have been like
17. Yeah, good lord.
16, 17 we would have been.
It's just not right.
It really isn't.
Fucking
Anyway,
pervert.
so let's do track number one, which is called Sentinel.
Okay.
Which I've spelt wrong on my fucking notes. Unless it's spelt normally, isn't it, with the EL at the end?
Yeah.
Well, I've written it down wrong. What's fucking wrong
You
with
got
me?
Sentinel.
Sentinel, yeah.
Twat.
I know, twat indeed. Now, the first major problem of this album strikes right here, because this little keyboard refrain, this is a recurring theme throughout all of the first half of this record, because this is an album that's definitely been recorded in two halves.
Oh, very much.
Yeah, and this is the recurring theme from all of it, right? And the second that you realise it sounds like the theme from Button Moon, you're fucked.
Jesus Christ.
After Button Moon, we'll follow Mr. Spoon, Button Moon.
Oh, good lord.
It's just the same.
Fucking hell.
And here comes the Tubular Bells.
Thankfully, we're into the classic The Exorcist theme. Oh my god, that button. See, I hadn't picked up on the Button Moon thing at all.
Yeah,
but
you'll never be get it out of your head now.
Yeah, that is it. Wow.
And here we are, Tubular Bells, but... Where is it?
The
No, I'm looking for the... hang on. I'm looking for the bass note. Where is it? It's coming. It's coming. Any minute now.
boom,
Dub
boom.
style. Here we go. I reckon that's the thing that everyone that was like the first thing, like been waiting 20 years for Tubular Bells.
Yeah.
What we really are hoping is there's a bit more reggae this time.
Boom, boom.
So we've got we've got lots of hi-fi synthy sounds going on. Any minute now, Mr. Spoons is going to go flamenco.
Lovely. Well, what do you think about that kind of almost panpipe-esque synth sound that he's got? It's not panpipe strictly there, but that kind of weird.
I mean, there's a lot of sounds in this that I don't think are particularly great sounds.
I almost like have a running total of the sounds I don't like on this album. Yeah.
I've got to say though, this piece itself, I quite enjoy it.
This is fine. This is actually pretty good. I think I like this. I would prefer some of it, bits of it, if he'd chosen a different instrument on his Casio.
Yeah, I mean,
that sort of shit.
Why has he got the Hey Nonnies in there as well?
Well, he seems to just go back to that sometime.
He's very much obsessed with these kind of choral vocal effects that he's playing out of the key, out of the synths.
Yeah.
Which sounds very dated.
It does. I'd say you're right. Are you talking about the kind of the way that sort of stuff? Yeah, absolutely. It almost like if you got Clanad in for a laugh.
I mean, it just reminds me of being in music class and one of the first things. Oh, there we go. Oh wow. God, what's going on there?
Again, don't take this out of your repertory.
Oh,
weird.
Is that a guitar?
Yeah.
It sounds like a theremin.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Here we are. Some Hey Nonnies. Hey Nonny. Hey Nonny.
Hey Nonny.
There's some a load of wandering Italians looking for their grandmother, presumably.
Hey.
But yeah, really, Michael is the note I've put for the Hey Nonnies. But it's all right, isn't it? It's got that main kind of theme in it. It's deep. It's overblown and it's silly, and I kind of enjoy its ludicrousness from that point of view. I find, like I say, the Mr. Spoons Glow's flamenco, which is still coming up, sounds really weird.
Right.
And then there's a point in it when it just drops. It's about 5 minutes 40. And it just suddenly turns into the theme from Howard's Way.
Well, it changes entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it becomes, rather than this sort of brooding and a bit scary stuff that's going on. Not scary, but slightly minor. Yeah. It goes full major. Yeah. Almost saccharine.
Sergeant major, some would say.
And it just becomes a totally different tune.
Because I put the sounds like the themes from Howard's Way, and I put not yacht rock, yacht synth.
Okay.
Maybe that's the genre he was aiming at. I don't know.
I'm okay with that.
But yeah, so look, I mean, it's an interesting start to the record.
I think it's the right start because it's a bridge between the first album. It's going to the fans. Yeah. All right, don't worry, I've got you. Here's what you remember, and here's something for your comfort.
Here's that bit from The Exorcist we liked.
Exactly. But I am going to be doing some. I'm going to be putting a little bit of enigma in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to be...
that's what that fucking noise is, isn't it? That's an enigma noise.
There's a lot, yeah, there's definitely...
There's an enigma noise.
Well, the thing is, you can only blame Mike Oldfield for enigma anyway. That they are his fault.
And I'm gonna say as well, just straight up there, spoilers for the rest of the album. At no point is this as bad as the Enigma record.
No, as an overall album, no. I think you're safe and safe. I think there's some bits on this I like. Well, that's not what I want at all.
That's not cool, Michael.
Not cool. Yes, but no, I don't mind this at all. I like the bits, the kind of the references that I get from the bit I know, and the rest of it's okay. Fine, I would have done it with different instruments. I would have done a different sound palette again, but fuck it. It is 8 minutes long, and it's 2 different songs.
I mean, there are some fucking. I mean, in terms of track, is this different songs though?
That's the thing.
Like when I was writing my notes on this, I was really having to watch to see when the songs had changed.
Exactly.
Because if you lock your attention, it's basically 2 continuous pieces of music almost. I mean, there are some exceptions to that on the second side, which we'll come into
well,
later.
yeah, but no, that's what he did on the first album. Tubular Bells 1 was part 1 and part 2 on side 1 and 2, and he's realistically gone down that route, but he's broken it up into 7 songs a side. Some of which are 2 minutes long, but
to make full use of the CD tracking facility.
Honestly, is, isn't it? Yeah, or skip. It's easier to skip.
Yeah, you can't have just one track. You can't have 2 tracks on a CD, Michael. We can support up to 99.
Oh my lord! Use them all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So okay, well that's track 1, and then it kind of moves into track 2.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As we play these, you'll probably hear a little bit of the previous song at the start because they do just go straight through.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, track number 2 is called Dark Star.
Okay, so we've got driving bass.
Yeah, this is different to the first one.
And then all of a sudden,
a bit of disco.
Interstellar, I would describe this as. There we go, look. There we are,
wow.
Interstellar. I've put here neon drama, lasers.
Lovely.
Wacky bullshit.
It's trying to cross over the disco and space rock. Yeah.
This is people with afros in 2 short shorts on roller skates to me.
Sure.
Smiling and singing God knows why.
I wonder if he just if he heard Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds and went, I invented this, mate, I can do this too. Yeah. And this is what he's come up with. This is so bizarre.
This is odd, isn't it?
Yeah. It starts off that kind of disco beat, squelchy keyboards and stuff, but then it just gets angrier with these guitars.
It's got a bit of Baywatch theme in there.
Yeah. But it, again, at some point, there's quite a few Tubular Bells come in to bring it back to the theme.
Well, it's like okay, so it's wacky neon. It's the 70s, and now it's Christmas. It's Christmas, which is quite apt, really, because an awful amount of this record does sound like when you go around your mate's house on Christmas Day and he's got a keyboard and he goes, look what it can do.
Right, sure.
And then he does the same thing that you get the Hey Nonnies on and he'll go, listen to this. He'll sample his voice going, hey, and then go, hey, 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 and here's a dog bark. Woof, 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 woof,
that's always the best one. Yeah.
Always. Hand clap.
Yeah. But then in terms of Christmas, that's another thing I know Mike Oldfield for is In Dulce Jubilo is on every single Christmas compilation album, and I actually don't mind it as well.
I'm trying to remember which record that is.
Oh, you absolutely know it.
Oh, fucking that thing. Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah.
This one.
Yeah. Hey, Nonny.
Happy Christmas time.
Yeah. Eat some quality sweet, have a glass of mulled wine.
That's his Christmas tune. I bet he's made enough money off that as well to fund his ridiculous lifestyle.
Oh, I'm sure he has. But, I bet you he's got zebras in his living room and stuff.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
Good news. Mm-hmm. We have a message from Darren.
Oh, just come in.
Should we have a listen to it?
Let's go through to the albums and listen to it then.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's do this. All right,
natural break.
All right, so
I'll tell you what, mate. Right, just in terms of his lifestyle, I looked up some stuff on this, and Mike Oldfield sounds like a twat.
I'm sure
an
he does,
absolute prick of the highest order. I mean, he got famous and very, very rich very young.
Yeah,
and that's very rarely a good thing for anyone. He's been through 3 marriages. He's got 7 kids. Fair enough. That's what happens. Not an issue. The last marriage was to someone called Fanny Vanderchove.
Of course.
And
I don't. That's definitely not made up.
No, definitely not. But he has a penchant for expensive motorbikes and cars. You know, he was given, I think, a top of the range Bentley by Richard Branson at some point. He's owned Ferraris. He likes that shit. He likes flying planes. He's one of these. He's got far too much money and too much time. He bought a massive mansion in the countryside. He's the Jamiroquai of the 70s. Yeah. And he's a Trekkie.
That's all right.
It is, but
slag off Trekkies.
Yes, whenever I think of Oldfield, I go, yeah, that fits. He's one of these people that moved away from the UK in 2007 because he thought the government were getting too controlling when they brought the smoking ban in.
Nice.
He was like, oh, big brother, you can't tell me what to do. So moved away. And also it was good for his tax reasons. He has declared his support for President Trump. He's on record as saying he wished he could have played the inauguration ceremony.
Wow.
And is a big supporter of Brexit.
Well, they couldn't get anyone for that Trump inauguration ceremony. So imagine how far down the list he was.
Fucking Oldfield.
I mean, they got 3 doors down instead of... oh, God, imagine that.
Jesus. But then it's not exactly a party whenever Oldfield's playing live at your inauguration, is it?
No, fuck no.
No. Here's Tubular Bells, 25 minutes.
Ding, ding,
yeah.
ding. I mean, to be fair, like, having the guy that plays the theme from The Exorcist would have been fairly apt at the Trump.
Oh, that would have been good. That would have been an excellent piece of television.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
They've got the guy that did the
Omen stuff. Yeah. Just that massive zoom close up on Trump's face.
The thing is that we know that he isn't Damien because you'd be able to see the 666 through his incredibly thin
Very
hair.
true, yeah.
Anyway, right, so all of a sudden an accordion shows up.
Oh, are we still on number 2 here?
Yeah,
Dark Star, yeah. Well, it's only 2 minutes long, this. There's a lot packed in.
Oh, they get a lot. And Button Moon comes back again.
Yeah, and Tubular Bells throughout to...
Yeah, come on, man, that's on the name of the album.
Well, indeed. This is very, very silly.
Oh, hilariously silly.
I think it's not terrible because I can't take it seriously, and I'm assuming it probably is supposed to be taken seriously.
But can't imagine anything. I can't imagine that he's got sense of humour.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. But being able to listen to this with a bit of a chuckle in the back of my head, I'm all right.
Yep,
that
same.
works. It is just stupid.
I'm enjoying the overblown pomposity of this first.
Yes, and at least there's something happening. You know, it's all going on. It's not washing over me like some the prog I thought might happen. Okay, I can pick this out.
All right, well, let's listen to track 3, which is called Clear Light.
Clear Light. And we would assume, I guess, that this is kind of the flip side of Dark Star, because you've got Dark Star and then Clear Light. You've got Dark and Light. And Dark Star is very ominous and full-on.
Oh, hear that synth bass.
I know. And then Clear Light is like this. It's all very fluffy.
Oh, we've got some medieval chords. It's like a harpsichord or something.
He loves a bit of that as well. Like you say, the Henry Lonnie.
And you're talking about...
processed guitars.
You're talking about noodling.
Yeah.
There is some advanced noodling going along here. Oh. He's really obsessed with these sample core vocals, isn't he?
Yeah. I looked up who this was, and it's a woman who I'd never heard of, who is kind of like an opera singer, a well-known opera singer.
Of course she
So, yeah, he's got her in to do these very dramatic vocals in this. Well, not dramatic, but very crisp and clear. It's not like that soft choral one. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of build-up. You know, it's getting to a crescendo of some ways. There's a lot of different instruments. Here you go.
There you go.
Bam.
We'll follow Mr. Spoon.
Yeah. I've got to note that this makes me think of... it doesn't anymore because these horns just spoiled it.
Yeah.
But if someone had a video of like waves on a beach to try and relax you, try and take you away in a surgery or something to relax you, that would be that. But then this has happened.
Well, yeah, it went from there to all of a sudden there's a wedding in a Disney film, and now a villain has entered with a moustache. He's a nefarious man. And Button Moon. And we're going to have a reprise of the Exorcist bit in a minute as well. God, listen, that just gives it that kind of calypso, Escape from Monkey Island feel, doesn't it?
Kokomo. Right, this is longer. This is like nearly 6 minutes long, this song. So again, there's a lot of different parts happening and a lot of different ideas sort of coalescing around one main idea, I suppose. But none of it gels with me on this one.
No, man, this is very much like, I've got what I want to do. I've got this crude oil that I need to get rid of. I know, I'll just pour it onto this body of open water. It'll just mix
it'll
in.
be fine, won't it? Oh.
Next thing you know, you got a dead seagull.
I think that was the original title.
Yeah,
this one, yeah.
So that's album 13.
I can't get into this one.
No, this is rubbish.
It's not.
It's
nice.
rubbish, but it's silly. I mean, it wasn't enough to take me out of the album completely.
Okay.
At this point, I'm listening to this with various kind of degrees of incredulity on my face. Like, oh right, okay.
Right,
'Cause you never really know where he's going next. All you know is it's going to be stupid.
Absolutely. But you never know what particular sounds he's going to employ next. You go, oh fucking hell, that's unexpected.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those compliments that you give when someone gives you food you don't like. You go, that was different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, all of it probably incredibly technically difficult to put together. A huge amount of effort going into this, and it's like, you've just prepared a 4-course meal of feces.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
incredibly difficult to get that
various
to look like a
toppings.
cake, but when you eat it, it's still shit. Still essentially shit. What's that on the top? Oh, you've made that. Oh, it's still shit, is it?
Flakes of shit.
Flakes of shit.
Oh,
Okay.
right,
Tell me more about the process to get there.
Yeah, Trevor Horn, you say? Right.
Oh, you used some kind of frozen substance to, what do you call that fucking shit? They freeze.
Ice magic.
No, what the fuck? Not ice magic. Crashing.
I loved Ice Magic.
Oh, fucking so did I, man. He used to do lots of different flavours. That all went away.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's the thing that they used to freeze off verrucas on your feet, and they froze the Terminator with in Terminator 2? Liquid nitrogen.
Liquid nitrogen.
There we go.
Right.
Anyway,
right.
fuck it. It was for a joke that wasn't that funny, but we've used it. This is why these recordings are so fucking long.
That's true. I just cut all this rubbish out.
I wish you could come around and do it, because this is what ADHD does to me. If you could just come around and edit my life.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so that's that, right?
Yeah, enough of that.
Let's do... so if the last two were kind of concepts about, kind of the dark star and the clear light, this one is about a Ford Escort, 'cause it's called Blue Saloon.
Blue Saloon. Little menacing bass line.
Yeah,
Kind of John Carpenter-y.
kind of.
Not now, but...
But what we're going to have now is what I can describe as a very Oldfield guitar tone. Here it is. Now, this isn't a sound that is pleasing to human or, as I discovered, corgi ears.
Oh, really? Hated it.
He didn't like. He seems to have mellowed out around it now, but he didn't enjoy it the first time.
No.
Because you listen, it's kind of a blues progression he's playing.
Yeah, and like slide guitar almost, or it's got that. If you had the metal thing on your finger and you're doing that sort of bluesy stuff.
I've written the Joe Pasquale blues.
Oh God. Oh, that's what it is.
If Joe Pasquale was like doing a thing where he was like, and this is how I play the blues, this is the thing he'd sound, and people would be creasing up.
If he did that, if he had like the Peter Frampton voice box, and he was doing or the little thing in his mouth, and it was Pasquale doing that through his guitar, this is what you get.
There you go.
That's wicked. Oh mate,
I don't much like this one.
No. This also reminded me a bit of War of the Worlds.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, because it's got that.
Yeah, that's weirdness. And there's only 3 minutes this one, so again, we're back to what I would call these ones almost as fillers. It's just one part of a larger segment.
I mean, we do get to a point in the note writing on some of these that I've basically kind of got to a point where I've summed some of these up in a sentence. So I don't have much more to add to Blue Saloon. It's kind of a darker tone to Clear Light. I prefer it to Clear Light.
Okay.
Because it's got that kind of darker tone, but that guitar sound is whack.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's absolutely horrible.
Why have you made your guitar sound like that?
Yeah. You could choose anything.
Yeah.
Literally anything in the world to have on your piece of music. I mean, again, it's different. Thanks, Mike, for serving me these.
That's what my Auntie Irene says about things. Different.
Yeah, precisely.
Different.
Oh, you mean shit and horrible? Yes, I do. Yes, I absolutely do, and I don't want to. I'm just trying not to offend you. But it's weird. It's different. Maybe he's trying something. Maybe he does this one for 3 minutes, little meander.
Yeah.
And he's just going, let's see what happens. Fuck it, leave it in. I don't know. Maybe he absolutely loved it and insisted that this become part of the overture. I wonder if he's just going, why not? At this point, just chuck it in. See what happens.
Why not?
See what happens, mate.
I mean, this is a very one-man stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
These are the ideas I've had, and here they are, edited, although they won't seem like they have been.
Yeah, true. God, imagine the outtakes from this, the ones they didn't put on.
Mate.
Fuck me.
Anyway, so look, the next track.
Number 5.
Yeah, this is you wouldn't want to be found with a file named this on your hard drive.
This is called Sunjammer. Oh, God. Turns out, apparently Sunjammer is the name of an Arthur C. Clarke short story, as is The Sentinel. So we've got a sci-fi theme going on.
This song just sounds to me like he'd recently been rewatching The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and had several of the notes from the theme tune
in
his head. Yeah.
On this one, I was really trying to remember what it reminded me of. There was something that reminds me of something very specific, and it could be that. Because I've got
quite like that guitar.
It's nice. Doom. I had possibly Frankenstein by the Edgar Winters Group, or Hocus Pocus by Focus, one of those kind of 70s weirdness. But it might also be Hitchhikers.
Listen to it.
Doom.
This is just an odd song, isn't it?
Crazy. This is fucking mental. It's 2.5 minutes long, and it starts off with what we've just heard. And then there's this little light bit.
Well, you got your Tubular Bells coming in.
Absolutely. There's your guitar solo.
And this almost gets played back because this almost sounds a little bit like tell me more what you're gonna do.
Yeah, definitely. It's got that Bo Diddley riff. Yeah. And there's a bit of honky-tonk piano in it at some point as well. Because why not? Chuck it in. Button Moon. Yeah. Fucking hell.
With a sparkly.
Yeah.
This is brass constructions play the theme to Button Moon.
Thing is, when you put it like that, I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Listening to this, I'm like, okay. No. Very strange. Very, very strange. And yes, it is, because like we said, it's part of a larger piece.
Yeah.
And so the journey he's taking us on, or whatever it is, maybe it works in context. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's more of if you sit back in a room and just let it go. But when you're going, so this song here, this is about what? And this is very strange.
Look, right, the lump of smegma under my bell end is part of a bigger piece. But it doesn't mean that part isn't disgusting.
Sure. Or I want any bit of the bigger piece, yeah.
Or that I should send you a photo of it.
Oh Lord!
Right, let's listen to Red Dawn.
That's 5 tracks. Let's take a break.
Oh fuck! Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, let's take a break and look at the albums.
I was really enjoying that. I wanted to do Red Dawn. Right, fine. Let's listen to what Darren's got to say.
Oh right, okay.
So, Tubular Bells 2 by Mike Oldfield. What do I remember about this album? Well, it actually was a significant album. Up until this point, all the music that I had been listening to while I was doing my paper round and things like that was all this kind of new age electronica stuff, things like Mike Oldfield, Jean-Michel Jarre, Vangelis, music that I was actually brought up on. So it was actually quite excited when the second album, or the sequel album, should I say, was announced. And there was that air of nervousness that you might get when, like they make a sequel to your favourite film or something like that, because Tubular Bells 1 was definitely a kind of seminal album for us, really. It was something that was played a lot at home. It was something that I know and loved and listened to often. So when the second album came out, I specifically remember picking it up on CD. I remember my dad getting home from work and sitting down and saying, right, let's have a listen. And I also remember that sense of relief that sort of 2 or 3 minutes in, when the first track kicks in and it's instantly recognisable as not only Mike Oldfield with his characteristic guitar tones and things like that, but very, very recognisable as a Tubular Bells sounding album. I remember there was that sort of sense of relief, and well, thank God, he hasn't cocked this up, and this is something that we're hopefully going to enjoy and live with over the next few months, and indeed we did. Yeah, I remember listening to it, and I remember the first track, Sentinel, kicking in, and wow, this is really nice, this is really good. This is that kind of dark, brooding Mike Oldfield sound that I'm very much drawn towards. I mean, he's always kind of had a real mix of musical styles in all of his music. I think he prides himself on it. Looking at his discography, you'll see that there's everything from world music to music based on the cosmos to lots of different things, and his travels around the world and experiences that he's had. But Tubular Bells in particular, I always found very eclectic, going from, as I say, the dark, brooding stuff that I'd still like and listen to now, and then there's some of the more throwaway kind of jolly honky-tonk stuff that comes in. I mean, I specifically remember, one of the tracks came in one with the sort of really funny vocals on it. I think it's called Altered State, if I remember rightly. It's got a really kind of aggressive vocals. I remember me and my dad sitting there and laughing, just literally sitting there and laughing, listening to an album. It's not a comedy album, but it was certainly something that we found comedy in, and still do to this day. If it was played now, I'm sure me and my dad would have exactly the same reaction. So yeah, it was a very significant album. It was something that when it came, I was nervous listening to, but was very happy that it was delivered in the way it was. I mean, particular highlights: the title track, or the first track, sorry, Sentinel, very good. The tracks Sunjammer, Blue Saloon, and The Bell, all very much for me are typical Mike Oldfield tracks, and the sort of Mike Oldfield music that I would gravitate towards. Some of the more sort of jolly, I'm going to use the word cheesy stuff, wasn't something that I was particularly into, but it's always been part of his sound. So yeah, Tubular Bells 2, good album. I've just listened to it again for the first time in, I can't remember now, it's probably 10, maybe even as much as 15 years that I've sat down and actually listened to that album, sort of start to finish, and thoroughly enjoyed it. In fact, I've just opened up Spotify and started a Mike Oldfield playlist. It's kind of reignited my passion for him as an artist, and certainly something that I'll enjoy listening to for the rest of my life anyway.
That's good, because that does say some of the stuff that we like. It just says it in a very different way to the way we're going to say it.
Yes, indeed. Some of that is not a spoiler for our views at all, but it's preparing you for some bits that are coming up.
Anyway, so let's do the albums.
Right, yes. Okay, so like I said at the top, the time period that we're looking at, this was the Mike Oldfield album was number 1 from the 6th of September for 2 weeks, but we'd had Kylie Minogue's greatest hits for 3 weeks previous to this, and then Genesis' We Can't Dance went back, and the Best of the Smiths went to number 1 for a week. So we've actually got a month or so to look at. We're looking at the 16th of August to the 19th of September.
That Kylie Minogue greatest hits. I mean, she hadn't really had any at that point. I mean, she'd had like. I mean, if you think about Kylie Minogue as an artist now, and you think about what songs you would consider to be on her greatest hits, none of them had probably been released by this point.
Yeah, the first one was 88, wasn't it? I Should Be So Lucky.
Yeah, I Should Be So Lucky. I mean,
Yeah. So you got I Should Be So Lucky, Better the Devil You Know, Step Back in Time.
Je ne sais pas pourquoi.
No. I think that was after.
No,
Tears on My Pillow we've
second
had.
album too.
Was it? Okay, but you will have had 10 singles, I guess, and they've just chucked them all on an album.
I would imagine it was a contract fulfillment clause.
I bet you it was just before she left PWL.
Yeah.
Because
we've already discussed.
Confide in Me was.
Yeah, because we've discussed, haven't we? Her putting something out on was it on Deconstruction or something?
That was one of our quiz questions. The first one, I think 94 was Confide in Me. She did on Deconstruction, but she left PWL in 93. So yeah, this is just bunging it out.
There you go.
Right. Anyway, we've got almost 5 weeks of stuff to look at. But we'll start with the top 10 in the week of September the 6th to the 12th, which was the first week that the Oldfield album was number 1. At number 10 is Michael Jackson's Dangerous, back into the top 10. And there was a single out. Yeah. Obviously, that was the thing. Number 9 is Neil Diamond's Greatest Hits. Number 8 is a new entry with Paul Weller's self-titled album, Paul Weller. Number 7 is The Best of the Smiths, which we just mentioned. Number 6 is Eric Clapton's Unplugged. Number 5 is Annie Lennox's Diva, which gone back into top 10.
Done it.
Yeah. Number 4, Lionel Richie's Back to Front, which we saw was like number 1 for about 6 weeks or something crazy in the summer. Number 3 is Kylie Minogue's Greatest Hits. And number 2 is another new entry, and obviously would have been number 1 had it sold a few more. Roxette, Tourism.
Oh, it's a
we
shame.
almost did that one.
Oh, it's a shame we didn't.
I would think I would have enjoyed getting into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this Mike Oldfield album is up there with the kind of records that you want to listen to for this podcast.
Oh, totally. Yeah, exactly. You got to take a load of different things.
But I wish we'd got to have a go at Roxette. Not enough to do a special, I've got to say.
Oh God, no. Okay, so there's your top 10. Other albums released, and there's loads here. So, Ugly Kid Joe, America's Least Wanted, which we've talked about before.
Which I had.
Indeed. Sugar, Copper Blue, got to number 10.
Yeah, I know that album relatively well, actually.
Really good album.
It is
absolutely.
a good album.
One of those ones that I remember reading about loads in the NME, because it was, Bob Mould from Husker Du is back with a new band. I didn't really give a shit about it. I didn't even know who Husker Du were at the point. But because it was talked about so much, and I really liked the first single, A Good Idea, I was interested in this, and then they were on that Nirvana, no Nirvana thing on BBC Two. Really enjoy Copper Blue. Just decent American kind of alternative music.
Yeah, exactly that.
Good big tunes.
Great college rock tunes, really.
Exactly that.
What I would say, though, Krista, just to point out to you, is if we ever want to be on Radio 6 Music,
which we
obviously do, we have to pronounce it Husker Du like every other cunt.
Oh, yeah.
Husker Du.
Husker Du?
Yeah.
Oh, mate. I'm sure there's other bands that, I had only read about in the 90s that I had decided were pronounced one way and found out afterwards. I just can't be arsed changing my way.
I felt completely the same when I found it was actually pronounced Chumbawamba.
Chumbawamba. Twats. Yeah. Pop Lead itself, The Looks or the Lifestyle, got to number 15 at this point. Tom Waits' Bone Machine got to number 26, and I'm not a Waits fan, I don't know that, but I know Bone Machine is one of his more well-known ones.
I like Tom Waits, but I am on a very kind of top level. Yeah, again, intimidating back catalogue.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Tom Waits mostly from being the voice of Tommy the Cat.
That's fair enough. Thunder released Laughing on Judgment Day. You know that?
Yeah, I've always hated fucking Thunder.
I got to number 2 in the charts.
They were an enormous band, man. They were enormous, Thunder. They were one of those big... They were playing at fucking huge venues. Like, the British rock community really embraced Thunder.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I mean, fair enough. I know they still play festivals these days, so that, yes, they must have a following. They must have a cachet of not cool, because that's not what they are, but they've got some stuff behind them. Well, I never knew they were that big at the time.
I think Danny from the band is big in rock management. I think he's one of the bigger hit figures in rock band management and
behind
stuff like
the scenes.
That. Yeah,
fair enough.
As a lot of those guys did. A lot of those guys that had a bit of kind of organisational muscle about them got involved in the industry, didn't they?
Okay, well, fair enough. Well, I'm just amazed. Number 2, but fucking hell, we almost had to do that album.
Well, we didn't. So
no, that's fine. Take That and Party got to number 5, which I think is it their first album?
That is their first.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Unless they had some kind of little release. Yeah. But it was their big breakthrough debut, and I think
it is.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that we see a lot more of Take That in 1993.
Sure.
They released single after single after single at that point. But yeah, this got to number 5 still, so it's a big deal-ish. But this is the first time we've really seen anything.
Did that album ever get to number 1? Presumably we have to do this album at some point.
Not this one, no.
Really?
No, I wouldn't have made a note if we did.
Right.
But they probably released their next album 3 months later, because that's what happened. We definitely have to do one of them, anyway. Bobby Brown released Bobby. Got to number 11. Okay. Did you have that?
Hang on. No, I had Don't Be Cruel.
Okay.
I had Don't Be Cruel. I didn't have the...
That was like
so presumably, it's got 2 can play at that game and something on it. Because the first album, it's got the lead 3 singles in the order. It's Don't Be Cruel, My Prerogative, and Every Little Step.
Oh, okay.
Absolute bangers.
Those are all good, big tunes. Yeah, sure. Babes in Toyland released Fontanelle. Got to number 24. Big one for me, and I know you love this too. Brand New Heavies, Heavy Rhyme Experience came out in this period. Only got to 38, which, to be honest, is higher than I thought it would have done.
Sure.
I wouldn't have thought it would have got top 40 at all.
I'm almost scared to hear that again. I might put that on later.
Still brilliant.
Does it still hold up?
Brilliant. I mean, there was a couple of songs that I never really gelled with on there. The one that the jump and move one, the kind of the more ragga influence ones. I haven't come round to them, but the ones with Main Source and Guru still fucking brilliant.
See, I still don't. I suppose it's the funk jazz disconnect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because for me, I hold Heavy Rhyme Experience and Jazzmatazz in the. I hold those in the same headspace.
Of course, I would too, but because there are obvious comparisons, definitely are. But it was always this one for me over Jazzmatazz.
I think that first Jazzmatazz album is spectacular. I think the second one's hit and miss. The first one's fantastic.
Well, you see, I think this is brilliant. And I remember whenever I was working in HMV in the late 90s, this was one album that I would recommend to people. If they were buying something even slightly similar, I would go, just so you know, this is a wicked album. You might want to give it a try and push it on people, because it's not well known at all.
No.
Obviously, in certain circles it will be. And for anyone who doesn't know, basically it's the Brand New Heavies as the backing band on about 10 different tracks with a different MC or a couple of MCs on each one. So you get a lot of different styles of flow, but you get the Brand New Heavies are the constant throughout doing a really nice sort of just low-slung funk backing on a lot of stuff.
If you ever dug deeply into your kind of your new metal towards the back end of the 90s, what the Guru track was covered on the first The Urge album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, The Urge, who supported when Korn came over touring their second album. It was Incubus and The Urge that opened for them.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
And what is that? It's getting hectic. That's the Guru.
It's getting hectic. It's getting crazy. It's getting hectic. Wow, it's getting wild.
Yeah. No, I would definitely recommend Heavy Rhyme Experience. Anyone who likes a bit of funk or a bit of hip hop, it's a really good amalgamation of the two.
It's a great record. I need to listen to it again though. I haven't heard it for a minute.
Nice. Throwing Muses released Red Heaven. Got to number 13, which again another big for top 20 for Throwing Muses album.
Yeah,
I think
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that I wouldn't have thought they'd have got that high.
Yeah. Fear Factory released Soul of a New Machine in 1992.
Yeah,
which I didn't know they had anything going on.
No, they had their industrial stuff going on. They didn't they kind of found their stride around like kind of 94, didn't they? Like when
I'd even go 95, 96, wasn't it?
Well, I mean,
Edge Crusher and shit like that.
They had a run. They had a 3 or 4 album run, didn't they? Where they got, because I mean they were they were headlining Brixton and that kind of size venue.
Yeah.
You know, Burton C. Bell was being very lauded as one of the. I never really got it. I still
they got a couple of good tunes. They got a couple of really good tunes.
But I'm predisposed. I'm predisposed to like that kind of stuff. You know, I really like my industrial, but I just never got it. It always just seemed bullshit to me.
Right. Yeah. Well, I didn't even realise they were doing anything in 1992. Screaming Trees released Sweet Oblivion, which I must admit I never had.
I love that record.
Loved the singles, but never. It was one of those ones I probably just never saw the album in the shops to get.
Yeah, I don't
didn't chart at all.
I don't have an original. I've had on various tapes and copies over the years, but it's an album that I do sometimes listen to on Spotify if I'm in a kind of a grungy mood.
Fair enough. Yeah, but it didn't even get top 75 over here. I think it was obviously limited release. The record label wasn't.
I mean, I Nearly Lost You is
brilliant.
One of the best grunge singles.
Brilliant. Dollar Bill, brilliant. KMFDM released Money.
Mm-hmm.
Never give a shit.
Fair enough.
Friends, regular listener to this podcast, Phil Guthrie. I know he likes him.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he put a lot of their stuff on tapes for me.
I never got KMFDM either, really.
Nah. Red House Painters released Down Colourful Hill, which is another band that I remember reading about, Melody Maker, as one of these kind of very lauded and respected American indie bands. I don't think I even heard anything for a couple of years after this.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee like there's probably a load of Red House Painters songs that you don't
very
even
possible
think are theirs. But
couldn't tell you.
Same. Couldn't tell you an album.
Not close.
Right.
And the last one I got a note of here, and I know you're a fan of the band, is Morphine with Good. And do you remember that? I don't remember that. 92.
I don't remember Good. No, I still don't really know that record. I love Morphine. What a fucking band that.
You got to see them live as well, didn't you?
Well, no, we had tickets. Yes and no is the answer to that. We had a load of us had tickets to go and see them. I think Forum or Garage or something like that on the tour because he like the singer died on stage.
Oh yeah,
like fucking Chile or somewhere. I can't remember, but I can't
Italy,
remember. Maybe.
But, yeah.
But yeah, we had tickets for that. But years later, the rest of the band play under a different name, and I don't know if they still do, but they used to play like a residency at this kind of Irish bar in Boston. And when I went out to visit my cousin Megan, shout out to Megan, she took me there to see them.
Oh, okay.
And they had a kind of an open door of vocalists and other musicians kind of just came in and they would play Morphine songs and other compositions of theirs and stuff. And it was fucking wonderful.
Was it good? Yeah.
Yeah, they played 2 or 3 sets and they played loads of the songs that I knew and loved. And it
didn't sound like I suppose this will do.
No,
wasn't like that.
It was. I mean, obviously you're missing his voice.
Yeah, sure.
But it was wonderful.
Okay, that's wicked.
I was like proper. Oh, this is fucking great.
Very cool.
It was really, really good.
Well, yeah, fair enough. I was surprised to see this pop up in the lists because I didn't know that they were going in 92. But there you go. There's your albums. 5 weeks worth of albums in there.
Lovely.
What I take away from that is an awful lot of the American indie stuff. So Throwing Muses, Red House Painters, Sugar, lots of that coming through and making an impact on the UK charts.
Yes, indeed.
Actually not just being at number 63.
Are we calling this the ghost of REM, do you think? Are we thinking that because REM hits so big that labels are looking to see what else they can find in that college rock?
I think it's just all in the wake of Nirvana. You
think?
Yeah, I think it's especially when you think of the music press writing about stuff, when Nirvana hit, anyone who was, in their slipstream was suddenly written about, and they were trying to latch on to whatever was going on in, Indiana or whatever it was. And so stuff that wouldn't have been touched in 1990 was suddenly, okay, this could be the new one for 92. I think it was that. Okay. But obviously the REM thing definitely doesn't hurt. Everything hurts. But yeah, it definitely would be something along those lines as well. But I think if Nirvana hadn't happened, they would still be charting at 63 and 20 people would be buying it, and that'd be it. But yeah, okay, there you go.
Okay, so let's
back into the middle part of Tubular Bells 2.
So this is this bit is called A Red Dawn.
Right. So this is track number 6.
Yes.
And this is realistically, we should have gone on from the previous one, because this is absolutely an extension of that.
Yes. Drama.
It's only under 2 minutes long. This one.
Ooh. Drama. Slidey.
Yeah.
We've built a little bit of atmosphere. Fuck knows why.
For a 1 minute 50 song. Apparently he's taken to calling this one just Russian these days. Changed it. It was called Red Dawn, but he now refers to it as Russian. Which kind of makes sense for the sound of this.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a Hamlet fucking cigar ad.
Yes. Or yes, a sad love song for a film. I can definitely, in my head picture a very cold street in Russia, people walking and down there.
Yeah, a man pulling a sled behind him.
Yeah.
We've gone into an Ennio Morricone thing.
Definitely Morricone, yeah.
So, if those are all spaghetti westerns, what would this be? Like a borscht western? A borschten.
A borschten. God. This is an interlude.
Yeah. Well, then it does something weird though, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. Okay, so we're now we're kind of 1 minute 20 into this of a 1 minute 50 song, and it's done this for a little minute.
Yeah.
But then,
all of a sudden it turns into a hoedown in a medieval town.
Yeah. So this kind of weird dance bit going on.
I'm having sex with my horse.
So yeah, just again strange juxtaposition of sounds. And we might as well just play this through, because now we're into the next one.
The Bell.
The Bell.
Which is presumably Mike Oldfield's nickname in high school.
Quite. He's unable to wear regular pants.
Oh, yeah?
He's got tubular balls.
Nice. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what he's doing here is showcasing what I am sure is a very impressive guitar technique.
Okay.
To anyone that cares.
Mm-hmm.
And you can draw your own conclusions about whether I do or not.
Yes. This was a single. This was the third single off the album.
Yeah, obviously.
And this is also a reimagining of one of the ones off the first album.
Yeah. So now we're starting to open out into some kind of almost West End musical backing vocals.
Okay. Well, again, this is a build. This is a 7-minute song, and it's a build and a build and a build.
Well, it's 7 minutes. I'm not entirely sure it's a song.
Right. It's a list.
And here comes fucking Hans Gruber.
Yes, indeed.
Just naming instruments.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Alan Rickman as the Master of Ceremonies.
Yeah. Now this, at this point I made the note, this is very white. This is so white.
Mate, in an album of fucking white.
Yeah. This is like Arctic in its never-ending whiteness.
Okay.
This is like a blizzard of a song. And it's not... I mean, this is like that bit in any Guns N' Roses show where Axl Rose introduces the band and it goes on for too long and you think, what the fuck's he going to do next?
Who's this bloke? Yeah.
Oh, and here's Tracy and Roberta here to help you.
Sure.
And here is... there's some fucking weird... Here are 2 slightly sampled electric guitars.
Yep.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
The Venetian effect. What's that, waterlogged?
I think it's just blinds.
I've no idea, man. Like, but the thing is, right? Like, we'll just skip through to the end of this because it does build and build and build. And it just gets this point at the end where it's like the bell is ringing and it's all like really elegiac. And I'm just imagining like a giant bell rising from the ground. People are surrounding it, holding hands.
All right.
But then snap, surprise, the bell is Jesus.
Oh, God. I see. It's some sort of like maple ceremony.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the end of this song, and you know, we've got several minutes to get there. I just describe it sounding like Christmas around the Lion King's house.
Wicked. That's good. Yeah, that's nice. The only thing that I like about the fact that Alan Rickman is just naming these instruments, at least we get a warning.
Yeah.
Like, because when he says that, I'm going, all right, I might stop now then. 2 slightly sampled electric guitars.
Right, and despite the fact that everything I've said so far about this song may send you in the opposite direction, I actually quite like this song.
Oh, do you?
I think it's
really?
I think it's ridiculous, and I think this is the perfect ending to this overblown first half of the record.
This is the end of side 1.
Yeah.
Essentially, this is the closure of part 1 of this thing.
I mean, what it fucking sounds like, and the length of it, it's like the kind of music that would play over the closing credits of a Mario game.
Oh yeah, really?
Well, yeah, I mean, the closing credits of if you've ever completed a Mario game,
Never played one,
there are about 15 minutes worth of credits because
these
what
fucking
is this?
sounds. Is this? I think this is digital sound processor.
Oh, of course, mate. Yeah, and here is Tribal Secretary. Here is
wasn't that a Rebel MC song?
Probably. Here is amniotic ambiotic tidal wave. Here is Cress. Here is Simon Says. Yeah. Here is Boke.
And here we go, Tubular Bells.
Here we go. But this is the bit I'm like, look, the camera's rotating, the bell is coming from the ground, and all of a sudden, that's the story of Jesus.
A light shined down, brilliant. Oh man. But yeah, you're right. It's just nonsense words to an extent.
Yeah.
It sounds like someone's playing a joke on Alan Rickman and going, no, seriously, just tell him to read these out.
No. This is definitely it's the new John Lewis Christmas ad.
No. Venetian effect. It's a thing. It's like, don't you worry, mate. Yeah. I did go through, and I reckon of all the things that he has to read out and say, so you got grand piano, reed and pipe organ, glockenspiel, bass guitar, vocal cords, 2 slightly sampled electric guitars, the Venetian effect, digital sound processor, and Tubular Bells. I think if I had to pick a favourite, I would just go for grand piano because I know what I'm getting with grand piano. That's fine. I know what that is and it sounds like one. If I had to pick a least favourite, it's going to be the digital sound processor. It's fucking awful.
It is awful.
Just terrible.
What's he done?
No idea. He's wankered up everything, is what he's done. He's probably taken quite a nice sound and fucked it with an inch of its life.
Yeah.
And then thrown it out of the house crying.
I'd have rather he'd eaten a song and farted it out.
Totally, mate. Absolutely. But okay, I do have a note. You're saying that in general, you're okay with this. Yeah. I got a note saying that if this had different instrumentation, there are some tune bits in there I'm okay with. Yeah, it's not the worst.
I've listened to this with a smile on my face because of how fucking stupid it is.
It's insane.
Yeah, and I love that someone got to sit down very seriously and put this together. What I also like is if Mike Oldfield ever heard this podcast, how annoyed he'd be by us.
Dissing his Venetian effect.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah. You could never fucking do that. What do you do?
You're absolutely right.
Sit in front of a microphone with... Listen to the way your sounds.
Yeah. You haven't balanced this.
Do you know what this would sound like through a set of large quadraphonic speakers?
Tubular Bells.
Exactly.
Yeah. Apparently, whenever he first got the tubular bells that he used, he needed to cushion them for sound, so he just covered them in sort of loads of curly hair. They're tubular bells.
Okay, yeah, that does make sense now you've said it out loud.
Of course,
I'd wondered if that had happened.
Yeah, quite.
You've had too much fucking time on your hands.
Oh, mate, I really have.
Do you know that when he was listening to this, half of the recording, all of the left panning stereo tracks for the entire recording, basically just got distorted slightly and fell down at like kind of a weird angle and stayed that way for several months until they returned to normal. Yeah, it had Tubular Bells palsy.
Wow. Well. Holy shit.
You want to fucking start this game with me again, do you?
This is no game. For fuck's sake.
Last time this happened, people got hurt, Krista.
Fuck. 2020 does not need anything else going wrong.
No, so right, what are we going to do?
Straight into part 2, I guess.
Okay, so this is track 2, which is called, side 2, track 1, or
track
what is it, 8?
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to.
Yep.
It's called Weightless.
Yes.
Which is kind of lightly gentle. It's like almost the start of a incidental orbital single.
Yes, very true, actually. Oh, some more sort of dreamy synth vocals. Mm-hmm. I can only assume from looking at the clientele on who did this record, there are a few different people on vocals. One of them was the woman who does the opera stuff, but there's a woman called Susanna Melvoin.
Melvoin?
Yes, and you'll know where I'm going with this, who did backing vocals on a few tracks of this. So I assume this is probably her, because it's kind of to the fore, it's a definite female vocal. She is the twin sister of Wendy Melvoin.
Of course, yeah.
Who was one half of Wendy and Lisa.
Yep.
Who were one part of Prince's Revolution backing band. And so Susanna, who's on this, also for a while was in the Revolution. She also became part of The Family, another of Prince's ensembles, and she was engaged to Prince for a while, and he wrote Nothing Compares to You about her.
Nice.
About this woman who's singing on here.
No, Nothing Compares to You, though, isn't that? We
discussed
about
this. Is cleaner.
It's cleaner, yeah.
Well, the other story, I guess, the official story, I guess. Yeah. What he will have told Susanna Melvoin is he wrote it for her. Not about his cleaner.
All the flowers that you planted, Mama.
Yeah.
My cleaner.
All the ironing that you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the comfort that you used on my shirt, Mama.
So yeah, that's who this might be. And this is pleasant. It's fine.
I think this one's a bit boring.
Oh, it's very boring.
Ironically, for a song called Weightless, it lacks a bit of gravitas, a bit of weight.
Yeah. Well,
after all the craziness of the first record, all the kind of threads that were picked up and then discarded, and for all the chaos and the stuff that I found a lot of fun, none of that is present in this. It's a bit more like it's a bit more Magnolia, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's 5 minutes of nothing as well.
Oh, and
it goes on, and it just has more panpipes throughout.
What I found as well is these 8-minute songs on here, because they change so much, you don't ever really get the chance to get bored with them up to this point.
Okay, yeah.
And this is the first one I was like, fucking skip to the end. Fine. Kind of skip it. Like when I was listening back to writing my notes, like I always listen to things in full, but sometimes when I'm writing my notes, I'll just skip a track forward a little bit, just to go,
see if there's any more meat to it.
Yeah. So all you need to know really is that's a 5-minute track, and I've got like 4 lines worth of notes on here.
That's enough.
So yeah. Anyway,
have you got anything else like specific or just?
No, I mean it really. I don't really find anything specific to hang my little hat on.
No, I'm fine with just skipping that one, really. Next one, number 9, The Great Plain.
Yep. Which is spelled Plain,
yes.
not Plan.
Indeed, it's not about a 747.
No. Those are great planes.
Thanks, Partridge.
We are back in the Old West here.
We are. Well, I suppose the Great Plain would evoke a Western
it's kind of Grapes of Wrath, Dust Bowl.
Sure. But actually, the thing is, now you said it earlier, it does sound like The Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's maybe he's going for a more expansive thing on this second side. Is it reminding you of something in particular?
Yeah.
Is it Bon Jovi's Blaze of Glory?
No, but there's something. I think it's too fleet. There was a minute there. There's like a little movement that really reminded me of something, but I think it's too fleeting to pin down.
I thought that this one sounded a bit like the Killingfield soundtrack that I remember. So it's that sort of a thing about it.
Well, for me, I think you get these when it starts with these bigger flourishes, which are just kind of coming here. I was going, I bet you any money that like over the next couple of years, probably to this day, if you walk around the Edinburgh Festival and you go and see any of the number of interpretive dance songs, I bet you it, because this just seems like a song to do interpretive dance to. I'm just seeing hands, movements, and leotards and lycra.
And there's got tin whistles coming in.
Well, you would know what those are.
Well, indeed. Yeah, no, I think this is really, really noodling around.
Oh, this is cinematic music for a film that doesn't exist.
Sure. Which can be fine.
Which can be fine, but
I don't fancy seeing this film.
No, I don't want to see this film.
I don't want to see any of these 4 films that he's trying to evoke so far in this song.
What I particularly don't want to see is what these fucking private school dance students are dancing to. I don't want to see their dances. I don't want to hear them identify themes, and I don't want to hear them say, and at the end, it was all about AIDS.
Click. Yeah.
Hang on. It was all about AIDS.
Lovely.
One more. Hang on. Sorry.
Oh, God.
AIDS!
Give that man a grant.
That is literally some people's fucking 4 years worth of work.
I mean, that reminds me of your man who did Dennis Pennis.
Oh, yeah.
There's some sitcom where he just shouts on a stage.
Oh, it's fucking, it's
Spaced. David Williams.
It's Spaced.
Oh, it is Spaced, yeah.
It's Hoover and
Vagina?
What's her name? Oh, shit.
But yeah, it's that, the Hoover one.
Yeah, the most beautiful woman that ever exists happens to be a man.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. It's just absolute nonsense. The only other note I've got on this is that I had thought up to this point that he had used up all of his terrible sound choices already. Yeah. But he finds new ones on this song.
Oh, for sure,
just
man.
Dreadful shit that he's making me listen to.
Vulva was what the character was called.
Vulva, that's her. So, yeah. The other thing I put is that you've already admitted, and I'm saying admitted like it's a bad thing, but you've said you don't mind a bit of prog sometimes. I'm not a fan of prog in general. I've not really tried very hard, but I am much more of I like a single. You know, I like an easy tune, an easy thing to get into. And so I've always written prog off, for the most part, as probably not going to be into that because it'll be a bit more difficult for me to. It's more challenging and I can't be arsed. Is the thing.
Lazy.
It totally is. This is the sort of thing that I'm scared of in prog.
Yeah.
I'm going, in my head, this is prog, and therefore I'm going, God, this is bad.
And I also think you've probably been somewhat, like whether you kind of, I don't think you could help because you were reading the NME from like the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the kind of the utter vindictiveness that those publications showed to anything that wasn't fucking punk and haphazard in that regard. Anything that was vaguely proggy was so kind of
vilified.
Looked down upon.
Yeah.
That
That's probably seeped through. Probably has, absolutely.
But my love of kind of proggy stuff came from listening to the Tool, and then the stuff that I got into from
because
that.
Of that.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, no, fair enough. But yeah, this to me is what I suspect is bad about prog. If someone's put this on and said, "Here you go," I go, "This is bad prog, isn't it?" And they go, "Well, isn't it just prog?" And I've been, "No, this is just bad."
Good. Yeah, exactly. This is definitely bad prog. Yeah. All right, so the next track is called Sunset Door. It's what I call my anus.
Lovely. Sunset. Are you implying that the sun shines out of your arse?
I'm saying that what comes out of my anus is incredibly hot and harmful to be exposed to.
Hot and gassy, yes.
If you got it on your skin, you'd get cancer.
Right, yes, that is very true.
So yeah, very medieval here.
Yeah.
Now what I like is from time to time, see if we can get to one of the flourishes here.
Right.
So we're in this very kind of medieval kind of, but Medieval passed through a Bon Tempi.
That little bass thing went boom boom.
Yeah, but that's
weird.
That bass when it comes in, very, very much too high in the mix, right?
Much too high.
What it feels like to me is it's threatening funk, right? So like you've got this
Nice.
army of like kind of hassock wearing white people pushing against a door, right? Trying to keep the music in this frame, and every now and again it just kind of pushes back, and this little bit of funk comes
It's
through.
like George Clinton pokes his head out.
It's like, no, we're going to keep this as wide as we can. We can't allow any rhythm into this motherfucker.
Right, I see.
And like at the end of this song, they've won because you never hear any more of it.
Well, white people usually do.
Exactly. Oh, God, imagine this.
Ridiculous.
Awful.
Absolutely ridiculous. I must admit, on my first pass through of doing notes, I wasn't watching closely enough into when one stopped and one began.
Yeah.
I entirely missed this song.
Yeah.
Just entirely. And I was going, it was only towards the end I was going, surely I thought there were 14 tracks in this. I went back and went, totally missed this. Played it again and went, I wish I'd just left it. Yeah.
This is like the music that's playing in a dream sequence where a character imagines they've gone to heaven and everything's very white and they're in the clouds and they're about to meet God and then the song ends. Yeah.
This is absolute rubbish, I think.
Yeah,
Number
absolute
10.
dog shit. Right, yeah, fuck that off then.
Well, that's the second 5.
Oh, let's do singles then.
Do the singles, let's do that. Once again, the week that I'm actually looking at for your top 10 is the September 6th to the 12th. There's a couple of new bits in here. The thing is, we haven't had a top 10 for, let's say, 4 weeks for the NXS one. So there's some changes, but there's still actually quite a lot of stuff that's the same. Number 10 is Felix Don't You Want, which we have had. Number 9 is Annie Lennox, Walking on Broken Glass, which is presumably why her album is back in the charts. She's released that single. Number 8, though, and this is an absolute classic. It does take a while to get proper into it, but I think you're going to get it from an intro.
It's My Life.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Dr. Alban.
Dr. Alban, It's My Life. Yeah. Yeah, that's in the charts at number 8 this week. And yeah, that was fucking massive.
It's my life. I didn't like it at the time, but I kind of
Stop bugging me.
I kind of like it in retrospect more than I liked it at the time.
That's fair, because it's a bad song, but it's fun.
Which song do you think is worse? It's My Life or Mr. Vane?
Oh, Mr. Vane's much worse.
It's awful,
It's
isn't it?
fucking dreadful. I hate that song.
Call him Mr.
Oh, God.
Reader.
Culture bait.
Call him Mr. Wrong.
Fucking bullshit.
But they're the same song, essentially. They're the
Right.
same family of songs.
Well, I always put Dr. Alban in the same bracket as Hadaway for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, it's my moon. It's that. Yeah.
It's the similar nonsense. But okay, number 7 is John Cicada's Just Another Day, which we've had already. Number 6 is not on Spotify, and I'm fine with that, is Brian May's Too Much Love Will Kill You.
It was not love, it was sex, Brian.
Number 5 we've had before is Billy Ray Cyrus, Achy Breaky Heart. 4 is Luther Vandross, Janet Jackson, Best Things in Life Are Free. Number 3, and I remember this, and I remember fucking hating this as well.
Oh, God.
Do you remember who did it?
Yes, I do. Fuck.
So bad. And this hung around for weeks. Absolute weeks.
What was the fucking artist credited as? No, you have to tell me.
Undercover.
Undercover.
Yeah.
I would never have got that.
Fucking shit on a stick, that is. Why would you think it was... That's ripe for a dance reimagining. And let's do it in a really limp fashion. Just horrible, fucking horrible. Number 2, and this is, again, objectively a terrible song, but I bought it at the time, and I still stand up for it in a fun way.
Oh, I love this song. I love this song. Let's not say anything about this song.
Oh, I mean, I think it's objectively bad. It's a terrible song, but it's great fun.
I don't know if it is objectively bad. I like it.
I love the fact that It's just about drugs, and they got it on Radio 1. I love that.
I love how ham-fisted and juvenile it is.
Sure, and I love the fact that the Shamen, who I did used to, I liked a couple of years before this when they were just a dance band.
Yeah.
I liked a couple of their tunes, and I like the fact that they made some money off this nonsense. But I think it's a terrible song.
I mean, they were the prototype prodigy, weren't they?
Well,
Shamen?
indeed, yeah, pretty much. Okay, so that got to number 2 in this week. I have a feeling it got to number 1 at some point.
Oh, it was 100% number 1. Yeah.
Right. But number 1 this week is Snap's Rhythm as a Dancer, which we have
I hated
had.
this song. I hated it.
Oh, it's shit. Well, especially because you come in with The Power, which is fucking brilliant, and then your follow-up is Rhythm as a Dancer.
I mean, because the first song was The Power, and the second one is Under Par.
Oh!
Undercuts.
Oh! So, the other singles that came out in these 5 weeks then, and we've seen Paul Weller, the album was in the top 10, his single, Oh Yeah, was out, which got to number 18.
God, do you know, the thing is, I hate Paul Weller, and I remember liking that song.
It's very catchy. It is. I remember hearing it and not knowing it was him, because it doesn't sound like a Paul Weller song.
No.
This is a catchy tune. And also, I remember there was a remix of it done by Brendan Lynch, maybe. And it was just a nice sort of beat behind that, that sort of stuff. Very cool. But yeah, doesn't sound like a Weller song. But anyway, that got to number 18. Thunder got to number 22 with Low Life in High Places, which again, I just don't remember. I wasn't aware.
I remember the song title.
No, fine. Number 19, Bobby Brown, Humping Around.
So the thing is, you've got to remember, by this point, I'm probably reading Kerrang every week.
Oh, Thunder would have been all over that.
Thunder's going to be all over
Gotcha,
it, yeah.
okay. Number 29, Faith No More is a Small Victory.
Yes.
Which we obviously did an entire special on that one.
Well, on the album.
On the album, indeed. Mentioned the band before. Number 24, and this is, I'm going to assume this is one of the very few songs that you know of theirs.
Oh, so, yeah, Everybody's Happy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Pop Lead itself.
Pop Lead itself, indeed, with Bulletproof.
Bulletproof, yeah.
Yeah, Bulletproof.
Yeah, I used to dance to this.
Exactly, this was in all the indie clubs at the time. Got to number 24 in the charts. And yeah, it was in all of the fucking clubs. Number 22, and you'll get this straight away. I wasn't aware of this at the time at all, but I bet you were.
Oh, come on, yeah. I love this song. I love this song, man. Look, the first 2 Skid Row albums are fucking great.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for the fact that he is such a fucking cunt, probably can't sing anymore, and it will never ever happen. If there was a reformed Skid Row that were playing at Download, I would fucking be there in a heartbeat.
Really?
Yes, of course I would. This was a great band, and they should have, they were in the same kind of bridging thing between the real kind of shithead cock rock and the metal that would come afterwards. Almost, I'd say Skid Row are almost the missing link between Guns N' Roses and Pantera.
Wow, okay. Wow.
The fucking second Skid Row album, Slave to the Grind, is heavy as fuck.
Right, fair play.
Great record,
man.
Man.
This one, obviously, Youth Gone Wild is just a big chant along.
Yeah, but I love Youth Gone Wild.
Big guitar song.
What you got on this? You got Youth Gone Wild, you got 18 and Life as well on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good lighters ballad, isn't it?
Oh, sure.
18 and Life, you got it.
Well, got to number 22, that one, Youth Gone Wild. This only got to number 73, but I've put it in, again, because we did a special on the album, and this must have been the first time it was officially released with the UK release. Smashing Pumpkins' I Am One. Got to number 73. If you're a fan of this, do go back and check out the episode we did on that one.
Yes, indeed.
Big one, this one. Got to number 10. Bit of a build, give it a few seconds.
Everybody in the house of love. Everybody in the house of love.
So who is it?
E17.
E17.
Everybody in
House
the house
of Love.
Everybody in the house of love.
I'm trying to think. I think that's the first we've seen of E17, is it?
I think that's their first single.
Was it? Right.
I think so, yeah.
Well, they got number 10 straight away then. That's pretty good.
They did well, man. They did well. They were the chav take that, weren't they?
They certainly were. Still are.
Bit rough.
Yeah. And the last one I've got here, another great single from a great album, only got to number 33, which I think is fair.
Oh, come on.
bit of L7.
Everglades.
No,
No, it's
Monster.
Monster.
Yeah, man. This is a wicked tune. Yeah, number 33, which is
Monster. This is the next fucking album, isn't it?
No, this is still Bricks That Are Heavy.
Is it still Bricks That Are Heavy?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. The end of 92. I guess this is probably single 3, I guess.
Hey, so what was the fucking first track of the next? What's the next record called? The next record
I couldn't
is.
tell you off the top of my head.
Oh.
I remember not being very impressed with it.
Oh, I quite liked it. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, there you go. Now, those are your singles. That's where I'm stopping on that one.
All
5
right.
weeks worth of that.
Fair
Not
enough.
bad stuff.
All right, well, let's get back into the
Finish off a bit of Oldfield.
final stretch. Yeah.
All right. So track track 11 is where we're at. Tattoo. Which is either about the Russian girl band.
That were probably just being born at this point.
Probably. Or about one of the baddies in James Bond.
Yeah, you would imagine so. Or it could be about Edinburgh, where they do the military tattoo.
Ah. Well,
what clue could we
I
have?
don't know. If it was about that, I think we'd know. There would be something about this song that would reference that sort of shit, wouldn't there? Hold on.
Oh, fuck me. I mean, to be fair, if you'd have asked me 2 tracks into this, is there a bagpipe on this record? I would have categorically, I'd have put my house on it. I'd have gone, yeah,
Sure.
there is definitely a bagpipe on this record.
Yeah.
I've described it as an inevitable bagpipe.
Yeah.
And then,
crushingly inevitable.
in fact, here, these are the exact notes I wrote. It was almost inevitable that there would be a bastard bagpipe.
Yeah. It was only a matter of time, and at least it's, towards the end of the album.
This whole track to me, like once you kind of the pipes calm down a little bit, it just sounds like a soundtrack fucking outtake from the Phantom Menace.
Oh right, yeah.
It's just like they're doing some big fucking sign, Boss Nas is in there, and they're giving out medals or some shit, and this is crap plays in the background.
This was the second single. What? Why would they do that to the world? Yeah, this was the second single.
Well, maybe you just thought, this is going to do. I mean, Great Britain.
Oh, yeah.
Scotland, home of the bagpipes.
Yeah.
This can't fail.
He did do. I think he launched this album with a gig at Edinburgh Castle.
Right.
With a lot of pomp and ceremony. It was a big fucking deal in '92. So perhaps they'd just filmed enough footage there that they had to use it for something. But yes, this is what happens in this song.
Well, I don't care.
Oh God, no, mate. Right. Let's discuss bagpipes in popular music. It probably shouldn't happen in general.
Generally not.
Generally not.
No.
But the big ones, your big bagpipe bangers.
Yeah.
Mull and Tyre. Mm-hmm. That's the one that instantly comes to mind as the big one. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. AC/DC. Yeah. That has a good use of it. But the main one for me, and the one that all subsequent songs should have been banned from using bagpipes, is because it will never be better than John Farnham's You're the Voice.
Absolutely not.
It will never be.
And particularly when you see him do it live and he picks the motherfuckers up and plays them himself.
Amazing,
right? And I mean, honourable mention to Jonathan Davis from Korn.
Well, sure.
Who fucking tries to fucking shoehorn those motherfuckers into chutes and ladders.
For some reason, yeah. Well, you've got to do something to be quirky.
Exactly.
If being buggered as a child isn't enough.
Coming out. Coming out, guys.
But yes, this is a dreadful song.
Dreadful.
Really bad.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I suspect he regrets this as much as nearly anybody else that got a tattoo in the 90s. You're going to do with that Tasmanian devil dickhead?
Yeah, quite.
No, I'm never going to see it because it's above my arse crack.
Oh, God.
Right, so let's do the next track. It's already been mentioned by Darren.
Yes.
This is Altered State.
Altered State.
A song far with one too many words in its title.
I'm just going to pause quickly on this one. Because the first thing I thought when I played this was like, fuck, this is the first drum beat we've heard on this album.
My first note says, it's an actual song. Because it sounds like this, almost sounds like the start of that Take That song. That.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Never have been to me.
Sure. And I was like, it showed me I'd been missing something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh mate, a drum beat. Yes.
So I've written it's an actual song. Press play, and I'll give you what my second note is. Oh, no, it's not. That's my second note. No, now it's turned into a Jim Henson song.
Yeah, what is going on? I was not prepared for this.
No, I mean, I've just written this. This is fucking stupid.
Isn't it? And like Darren said, obviously it's stupid and ridiculous. Is it supposed to be funny? Or is it just supposed to be, in the same way as some of the stuff from Pink Floyd albums is just crazy?
Yeah, I think this is certainly supposed to be absurdist.
Okay, yeah, that's a nice way to put it. It's fucking mental, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, I put on here, look, someone's turned the prog up on this one, and in rides Mr. Spoon on an electric unicorn.
Wow, okay.
Craig McLaughlin's Mona is somewhere in the background as well.
Jink.
Yep.
Yeah. Mate, this is absolute insanity.
It's dreadful.
And I was not ready.
It's dreadful.
Oh, it's awful.
If this had been on the first half of the album, right, when I was still in the zone of that, I might have enjoyed this a lot more.
Okay.
Right, because the first half is so gonzo and odd and all over the place that I could almost pass this away. But the rest of this second half is so anodyne and fucking, without personality, really. It's a little, it's way too far out on a limb for me.
Oh, it's an obvious sore thumb for the second half, definitely.
And then he kind of breaks out with the guitar, and there's a big long guitar solo, and it might as well, the song might as well have been called "Don't Worry, Guys, I Still Rock When I Need
to." Looking straight down the camera.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Hey, don't worry.
All of these ideas you've hit. I'm kind of weird, huh? Kind of weird. Maybe too weird for some of you guys.
Maybe some of you not ready.
But look, just so you know, I still turn this on whenever I need to.
Dreadful.
Yeah. Awful. Yeah, terrible.
It's almost like he'd been bottling it up for 10 songs. Because there's some sort of craziness inside him. And everything explodes. Everything just comes out. Like taking the top off a champagne bottle and everything comes out in a mass of stupidity.
But instead of champagne in the bottle, there's just fucking some C4 and a load of spunk and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Just weird nonsense. The only thing that I've got on this is because there was a drummer. I was like, fucking hell, all right, drummers. And I looked up who played drums on it. There's a guy called John Robinson. John with an H as opposed to our regular listener John without an H. Hello, John. This guy is a prolific session drummer. Started off with Rufus and Shaka Khan in the late 70s. Did a lot of stuff with Quincy Jones throughout. Played on the likes of, some highlights of his career. Michael Jackson's Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. Rock With You, The Way You Make Me Feel. Loads of stuff on Bad. Did loads of stuff with him. Madonna's Express Yourself.
Wow.
Whitney Houston, Did We Almost Have It All? Greatest Love of All. A couple of those. David Lee Roth, Just a Gigolo.
Come on.
Yeah, what? Lionel Richie's All Night Long and Dancing on the Ceiling. Steve Winwood's Higher Love. These are big singles.
And not just their big singles, they're big singles with incredible, distinctive rhythm pieces.
Oh, totally. I mean, Higher Love, I mean, the drums are right at the top of the mix in that song, and that's almost the first thing you hear.
Yeah.
Beautifully done. But then Curtis Stigers, You're All That Matters to Me.
Nice.
Yeah. Seal Crazy, and I'm guessing that's because Trevor Horn, this is why he's on this album. Trevor Horn's worked with him. And Wilson Phillips, Hold On.
Yeah, look, this goes back to the start of lockdown, right? And I don't think I've mentioned it on a podcast before. Maybe I did, I can't remember. But my joke, remember when everyone was watching Joe Exotic at the start? Sure, yeah. And my favourite thing was that, why did he call himself Joe Exotic and not Curtis Tigers?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
That would be a great name. It would also be a great name for a drag queen, presumably.
Yeah.
Who just did tiger skin.
Amazing.
Curtis Tigers. So I have nothing against the drummer John Robinson for playing on this track. Mate, whatever you got to do to pay some bills.
Yeah.
From your back cat, do whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
And if it's playing on a song where someone's shouting in German and then someone's like doing a sped up comedy voice, that's all right. You do you, mate. Not a problem.
As it always sounds like. It sounds like a B-side for a Spitting Image single.
Yeah. Mate, do you remember that Elton John thing we played? That was some weird B-side that he did. It's kind of along those lines.
Yeah. It's up there with the fucking the Bowie Gnome song.
Yeah.
It's that kind of bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Stupid ideas done badly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what that one was. That's number 12. So we're near the end.
So 13 is Maya Gold.
Maya Gold.
Which was my favourite Green and Black's chocolate bar. I don't think you can get that anymore. I've got nothing for this song because it just goes. And what I meant to write is mellow again.
Yeah.
What I actually wrote was mellow Alan, which this does sound like the kind of thing that Partridge might listen to.
Maybe so. Yeah, even the title of this one makes me hate it. Because immediately I'm going, alright, this is going to be some Guatemalan panpipe shit. And that's kind of where we are. And this limps along.
Yeah.
Really does nothing. It limps along for 4 minutes and just dribbles out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand what purpose this plays. Like, to me, if you're going to have Altered State, you end an album on Altered State.
Fine. Yeah, that was a statement. Yeah, there's a crash at the end and that's it. And everyone looks around going, what just happened?
Yeah, I'm wasting no more time on Mellow. I've got nothing to say about it.
Nah. Once again, there are bits that remind me of War of the Worlds, but not in a good way at all.
Yeah, those kind of bent guitars and
that bit. No, and also, this is track 13 on a 14-track album. I am entirely finished with this album at this point. I am over this.
I am very much at this point. So the final track is Moonshine.
Moonshine, last one.
I've got 4 words on this one.
Go for it.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Fuck off. Mike.
Okay.
It's basically this kind of.
Well, I've got 5 words.
Yeah.
And it's, why would you do this?
Yeah. This is.
Why is this here?
I don't know. This almost seems like you know like how like at the end of Dookie by Green Day there's that like little bonus track about someone wanking in your house.
Okay.
I was on my own.
Right, sure.
It kind of feels like that kind of novelty track at the end.
Or at the end of the Sum 41 album where they do Pain for Pleasure.
Yeah.
And just a bit silliness.
Yeah.
I honestly don't get what he's doing with this.
No. Rubbish.
There you are. A dreadful way to finish an album.
Yeah, dreadful.
Really badly put together that as a sequence. But hey, I'm not Mike Oldfield.
So where are you on this album in general?
I will never listen to it again. I did not take a lot of pleasure from it at all.
Okay.
And it has not made me think I was wrong about any of the other Mike Oldfield stuff I had in my head.
Right. Now, game of 2 halves for me.
Okay.
Very much split down the middle.
Uh-huh.
Pretty much enjoyed the first half with reservations and the understanding that I might not be enjoying it for the reasons intended.
Right, that he actually...
But enjoyed it, and there was enough stuff in there that I could probably dig into that and listen to it. We'll possibly listen to that some more. I don't know. Right. I can't imagine when, but I would. Second half, just dull, really. Which is like...
Apart from that one... mental song.
Yeah, I find that a little bit dull as well, in that it's just like I find nothing duller than when unfunny people try and do comedy.
Oh mate, I'm right here. Fucking hell, dude.
Look, man,
personally attacked.
Okay, I mean you do resemble that comment. It's fun.
No, I will give you that. The first half has more to it. There's more going on. There's more interesting stuff going on.
It was lighting my brain up.
Sure.
You know?
The second half is...
boring.
Fucking boring.
Really boring.
Yeah.
And this is the type of shit you could get away with in the 90s. If you had a following and because they'd throw a load of money at it and they'd know that it was going to make a load of money because the record sales were going to make... your money back. That's the way it was going to go.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that Napster killed. And when we talk about the goods and the bads, as we often do, maybe the fact that we don't get this stuff as much is a good thing. I don't know. But having said that, that's been changed by the fact that you could pretty much fucking bang this out with your laptop now.
Oh, you could. You could almost put a preset on it.
Yeah.
And even at the time, in 92, like we were talking at the very, very beginning, The Weight of Expectation, in terms of how it was received, obviously it's number 1 for 2 weeks. That's your public. But opinion that I could see from reading up on it was definitely split. There was like one article in The Independent, for example, that was like, yeah, this is terrific. This is a lovely extension of where he was. This is an updating of his sound. It works really well. He's incorporated these new things in, etc., etc., etc. But then, I mean, the other one I'm thinking of actually was a Melody Maker one, which is obviously going to be scathing.
Yeah.
But it was saying, this is fucking dreadful. This is some bullshit nonsense. Why is this being made today? What's the point, you know?
Yeah.
So there was definitely splitting.
And what it comes down to is it's generational, isn't it? In the same way that when Rage Against the Machine were announced, a record that came out very close to this one.
Yes, absolutely.
But when Rage Against the Machine was the brand new fucking thing, the mind-blowing thing that changed everyone's opinion about lots of different things. But when they were announced to headline Reading this year, lots of young people are complaining, why are these fucking goths playing?
Oh, right, yeah.
Because
They're not Post Malone.
And it's a change. And just probably in the same way that had we seen a live Mike Oldfield set around this time, we'd have probably gone, actually, there is some pretty impressive stuff in that. Maybe
if he'd done a Glastonbury,
yeah,
which is what he would have done. He wouldn't have done Reading, but if he'd done a Glastonbury, maybe it could have been an enjoyable.
Maybe. Who knows, right? Anyway,
yeah.
But it's generational stuff, guys. This was an album that was put out for a horde of fans that previously existed for his old work. It was probably a welcome thing, much in the same way as artists that put out seminal works when I was in my teens and 20s.
Yeah.
I'm probably still going to go and check them out now.
You'll give them a pass on a lot of stuff.
I don't know. There are differences in them. I mean, I'm not going to listen to the new Smashing Pumpkins record when that comes out.
No, but if it was a new Metallica one or Guns N' Roses, you'd listen.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a new Rage Against the Machine, I'd fucking be buying it first day. But so stuff moves on, and there's always a disconnect between the young and the old.
Sure,
this connected with an audience to a degree, I think. But,
yeah. And, okay, I can understand why it was number one because of the fan base.
Yeah.
It was never targeted at me.
No.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Not a problem. It exists. Fuck it. Not a problem.
People like Darren and his dad enjoyed the old stuff, and they got a lot out of it. I'm glad to hear Darren still likes it today.
Fucking weirdo.
Weirdo. Definitely, you fucking knob. But yeah, so that was a fun trip down.
It was. In terms of putting songs onto the playlist, we're not going to do more than one, are we?
No, we're only doing one.
Fine, that's fine.
I mean,
what are you between then?
I'm not even really between anything.
Oh, right.
I'm just pretty much thinking Sentinel. But
right, that would be the obvious one. Yeah,
that would be the obvious one.
Yeah. And the other one I would be tempted to go towards would be Dark Star because it's fucking silly.
Yeah.
And it's 2 minutes long. But Sentinel's a better tune.
I think Sentinel is more representative of different moods of this record.
That's fair. And it's got the classic.
Yeah.
Exorcist
and it starts
bit.
off with the Mr. Spoon bit, so people can agree with us and laugh.
Okay, we'll stick that on them.
All right, cool.
Right, that was that. I'm glad we've got it out of the way, if I'm honest, because it was another one that was a blip in the upcoming shit.
I mean, we did debate not doing a full episode on it, but I think there was enough to talk about.
Well, we've got 2 hours of recording here, I'll cut down,
Yeah, we had fun. So,
yeah, absolutely.
What's next?
Next is REM's Automatic for the People, which I'm excited about doing.
Yeah, I haven't heard that album for 20 years. As a whole album.
No, you're probably right. I probably haven't listened to it in entirety in the same amount of time, but I'm positive that as soon as I put that on, I will know every single note on it again.
Yeah.
I listened to it so much when I was that age.
I'll be interested to see how much of it comes back for me, because I listened to it a lot, but probably not as much as you did.
Okay.
Well, let's do it. All right. Well, yeah, cool.
Yeah, thank you for listening again. Get in contact with any comments. If you have anything to say about Mike Oldfield, please let us know.
Please do.
And if you have anything to say about REM, you can get in contact before the next show on as well, and we'll see if we can get some bits read out.
Lovely. All right, guys. Well, thank you for having us, and we will see you next time.
All right. Cheerio, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for checking out this episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. It was produced and edited by us, for which we can only apologise. We are on Twitter at PCL Podcast, on Instagram also at PCL Podcast, and Facebook.com/PCL Podcast. All of these, plus links to our various Spotify playlists, etc., are on our website, which is PCLpodcast.com. Please feel free to get in contact via any of the social media or on PCLmusicpodcast@gmail.com.